Welcome to another episode of That Crazy Triangle Guy. Here we are looking at my watch list, and in the middle of the page, you see Bitcoin CME futures with the exclamation point after it there. And that's the problem here. It's 94,675. Now, if you click on it, it's not really 94,675. And I don't know why they do that. You can see here on the 4 hour that we closed at, I guess we closed at 95. So 400 points above what the this thing says here. Still a problem. 95. Currently we're at 95.8. So we'd have to come down another 1,000 points in order for there not to be a gap. I'd really like to see a gap form because typically those gaps are put in place to fud you out as prices move upwards, just like the gap at 77 to 81 has everybody thinking that we're going to come down and fill it. We're not. We might. I doubt it. I really doubt it. It would take a lot. We couldn't even, even with the Bybit getting hacked, wasn't enough to dump us down to any more. I didn't even realize the dump we had on Friday. I didn't even realize anything had really been going on. I don't really tune into the news a lot. But, so anyway, let's get over here. So those gaps are put in place to make you think we're going to go down and close them, to fear you out every time we have some sort of a dump, to get rid of all of the over leveraged people. So what I saw, and prior to this even happening, I had drawn this line right here, and we'll make him a little fatter. Gotta get that. Let's make him a 4-pointer. There we go. That line that I just fattened up right there. Right here, this guy. Now, I drew this before we even hit here. And how I drew it, you know what? Maybe not. No, I couldn't have drawn it before we hit there. I could not have. I drew it right when we hit there. It was right before the dump. We're on a 4-hour now. Let's go look at like maybe a 30-minute chart. Could I have drawn it before? I swear to God I drew it before. Yeah, I did. I did draw it before. Because it connects these right here, this top right here, and this right here. I did draw it before. Looking at here on the 30-minute chart. And the reason I drew it was because I'm looking at this inverse head and shoulders pattern right here. Here's the left shoulder. Here's the head. And currently we're forming the right shoulder. I was looking for a right shoulder. I was looking for us to come up to this line and then form a right shoulder and move upwards, continue our move upwards. And sure enough, that's what we got. So when we hit this and started reversing, in my mind, I simply thought, okay, well, they know what they're doing. They know that they're just forming the right shoulder, and they're going about it very quickly. So it's kind of an unorthodox shaped right shoulder. I mean, it's got this huge thing down here, But that's, understandable considering what went on Friday. Um, and it is kind of rounded here. I mean, it's definitely rounded here. So that's kind of suspicious. But we are consolidating here. See, the thing that's throwing it off too is the CME futures gap down there. You know what? I'm hoping we don't fill it and we just move on. And but I'm looking for this to start heading upwards pretty soon into the close of the week. Now, there is a chance that we just hang out down here until CME futures opens. Um, you know what? I keep forgetting when that is. So let's go see when that is. I'm going to pause the video. So going back to last week here, you can see that CME futures opens up an hour before the week close. So, all right, we're now back on the Bitcoin chart, and my cursor is on the 2300 UTC, an hour before the week's close, and it's around 94,868. And you see that red line sitting there. And it looks like that's where price is headed. So I imagine we're not going to leave a gap. Price is going to come down here the rest of the day. And of course, I could be wrong on this. I really would like to see a gap. A gap confirms that we're going to move upwards in my twisted mind anyway. Because we want to leave a gap behind. We got to have something to make people think that we're going to dump down to it. Maybe not. Maybe we don't need that. But if it was me that was designing the chart, I would want that. Now, this red line is important because, we probably do come down here and bounce off of that. Probably right about here. 94.8, just above 90, around 94.8 or 9, something like that. And the reason being is this is the channel we've been trading in. And you can't see it here, but as I scroll back and it fills in, and we did break above it a lot here, but for the most part we've been trading in this channel. It's acted as resistance. We had lots of wicks through it. And probably the channel's not, it's a wider channel. But even you can see the slope of price action has been in this channel. We've actually come down to the bottom of it, actually, more than the top. But I'm sure it's just part of a larger, it's a smaller version of a larger channel. But anyway, that is important because we've been being held down by this channel. And as I'm looking at it now, it's really not a good example, but probably here more or less it is. We keep getting blocked here. We try to hold it as support. And that's been the whole thing. That's why I haven't really made any posts, because since we fell down here in the beginning of February, right here, since we fell below this purple line, remember the purple line that we kept closing above no matter what, and we fell below there on Friday. And if you'd been following this channel, you would have known that this was something different that was going on here. The second we fell below, that did not close Friday above there. And so, and ever since then, we've just been struggling, meeting various resistance and support, and getting rejected, finding support, falling through on the 4 hour time frames, and not really anything substantial wasn't coming of it. This is the first time we're starting to see something substantial here, with a lot of the indicators turning around, this inverse head and shoulders pattern forming right here. Shoulder, head, and shoulder, possibly. Now we are coming down pretty low, but even if we do come down here, it's still the bottom of this was way down at 93.4. So I would have really liked to have seen it stay above 96. I thought we would come down to about 96 before we got all this price action here. And we obviously come down below it, but nonetheless. So look for us at the end of the day, the last hour of the day. Really like to see us get a big pump. That's the other thing. We got to look at the weekly. Well, it would be fitting if we ended up closing here, because it's another one of these dojis where we got the candle body right in the middle of these longer wicks, just like we've been doing week after week, day after day. So let's see what the weekly oscillators look like. Well, down here you got the stochastic, and up here the stochastic RSI at the lowest they've been since over the summer. So, this is all coming to an end right here. It's about ready to flip up. This is on the weekly. And then also on the BBWP, we've had extreme low volatility at 0.4% on the weekly now. And if we switch to the 5-day, that's still, I think the 5-day just closed on Friday. Why did it switch? BBWP is at 7%, so it's coming up a little bit on the 5-day. And let me just check here. Oh, 5-day closes tomorrow night. Now that's really interesting, because I'm looking for this upturn here to start. And typically, if you wait till the 5-day confirms, as I've said over and over and over again, you miss out on the big move. I think we're going to get, I'm pretty sure we're going to get an explosive move starting later on this evening and heading into Monday. Pretty sure. Of course, I could be wrong. And on the 2-day, have we come down? 2-day, yes. It's just about 10%. Just a little bit above. When does that close? That closes tonight. So I'd like to see if that comes down. Because what I've seen, first it started with the 5-day on extreme low volatility. Then the weekly caught up. And then I believe the daily is caught up. Let's switch to that. And now the 2-day is finally following. They're all on extremely low. Yeah, the daily is down at 2.78%. So everybody across all the time frames, 1, 2, 5, weekly, extremely low volatility, looking for an explosive move. And it's about ready to start. So get ready, folks. Let's look at the RSI here. Now, see, that's the other thing. When we did come down on Friday, where did we stop? God damn it. I hate it when it tries to click on something I'm not even touching. So we're just looking at the daily RSI now. And Friday, when we did dump down, we dumped down to the moving average here. We didn't go below the moving average. Currently we are, which is kind of stupid. That's why I'm not understanding why we're doing this, other than just to close that gap. Probably, I'd be looking for this to close above the moving average by the end of the day. So keep an eye on this, what this does. If this comes back up to, above 45 something, that's what we're looking for here. Of course, it doesn't have to happen. It could, but it'd be better if it did, probably. So things were looking good heading into Friday. Thursday. That red line I was talking about, the channel we've been trading down in, finally broke above it, held it as support here, moved up. Another channel, held it as support here, moved up. We have the 55 55-day exponential moving average right there in the blue, 100-day moving simple moving average in the red. Is that right? In the blue is the 55 daily exponential, yeah. And in the red is the 100 daily. Yep, that's true. So those guys are holding. As you can see, the 55-day exponential just crossed below the 100 simple. But I look back over history, and that actually signals the reversal. When I look back yourself at all the times it's crossed below, and all the times it's crossed below like that, and price action's actually gone up. So, that's what we're looking for here. So we held those as support. This purple line right here is the connects the two previous all-time highs from May of 21 and like November 21. So that's the trend line that connects those two on a daily basis. Now, I've seen other people saying we haven't crossed below that yet, and I believe maybe they're connecting on a weekly basis or something like that. I don't know, but this is connected on a daily basis. And you can see that we broke above that finally and held it as support after falling below it like that the beginning of the month sometime, I believe. Yeah. 2nd or 3rd of February is when we fell below it. And then we came above it. So those things were looking good. It's just the action of Friday, which was also in the stock market, which leads me to believe the Bybit, it's as if the Bybit stuff, I was listening to George earlier, and George has really good intuition on these things. And he was saying how it's almost as if it was planned. And I agree. When I found out about it afterwards, I'm like, I mean, it's funny how this happened right when we hit this trend line, the neckline of our inverse head and shoulders pattern. Isn't that funny? Because had we not rejected there, what we would have been forming would have been a W pattern. Well, we're on a 1 hour. Let's see if we can get a better view on a 4 hour or something. There's too many lines in the way, actually. But same difference. The left shoulder and the head actually forming a W pattern here. So what would have been really bullish was to keep going up here, and or forming this inverse head and shoulders. And I almost made a video last week, saying this. But to be honest, I just haven't had enough time. I don't have a lot of time to make these videos. So you'll be seeing less of them probably. It's more important things in life than these videos. But this is a learning process, so hopefully you're learning something from these. It's not about me telling you what's going on. It's about uh, getting a feel for things. I do watch some other videos where people are looking at all this data that's changing constantly, like all this liquidity, long and short positions, and places where there's liquidity and stuff like that. And all that stuff changes constantly. So unless you're sitting at your computer all the time watching all that stuff, um, and even when they say, we're going to go up here and get this, or we're going to go down here and get that, by the time we start going down or going in that direction, everything changes and people close their positions and what have you. So it's not the same as what they were predicting. But what is the same is historical price action and the patterns that it forms. So it's and it's a little bit longer term. Of course, I mean, you can do it on the shorter term, or you can do it on any time frame you want. Look at things that way. Historical price action, that is. Now, so I forgot where I was. So either way, the W pattern and breaking out. I was looking for either the video I was gonna make on Thursday night, Friday, would be either to look for a bust to move through here, or that we would form another the right shoulder of an inverse head and shoulders pattern, and it looks like that's what we're doing. Yeah, I don't know how the Bybit hack relates to all this. And I don't know if we're going to come down in here and close this gap or whatever. But anyway, regardless what happens at the end of the week, we close this. I'm looking for a bust to move pretty soon right now. Either end of day or Monday or Tuesday this week. And probably close out the month. It'd be nice if we could close the month out at 102, something where we started. And we can just go to a monthly. Be nice if we could close. Yeah, about 102,500. That would give us a green month, barely. Now, it's not necessary, but we got the whole rest of the week to do that too. So there's a really good chance that we could. Really good chance we could. But even if we don't, a green, red, and then I expect March will be a really huge green month. Question is, will that be at the top? Will we go into April? Will we go into May? Will we go into June? It's tough to call here, and that's getting way out there. But I do think that this cycle, we will have a top either March, April, May, June, and then a pullback, and then another rally in October, November time frame, especially with all the regulation stuff that's going on. And I mean, it's going to take time. It's going to take a few months to get things going. Even these ETFs, a lot of ETFs getting approved, strategic reserve, the sovereign wealth fund, all that kind of stuff. Those things take time, and I think we'll see the impact of that in October, November, the next year. And at that point, Just have to, really, I mean, that's getting way out there. A lot of things got to take a look at along the way, the economy, and a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, who knows? It's so far out there. But yeah, so I think I'll end it there, and I'll end it there. But before I do, keep in mind this could be a fake out here. Let's see, we got about 5, 6, 7 hours. Well, I can just look right here. 8 hours. We got 8 hours until CME opens. So that's a long time. This could be a fake out here. We could very well pump from here, and I'd really like to see that. Um, just see this start taking a turn upwards from here, and forget about the CME futures gap, which this is really super concentrated. CME futures would be opening right there where my vertical line is. Well, let's just see what happens. Now, about George's intuition. So, yeah, I'm highly skeptical of this Bybit hack and really what's planned and what's not, and the manipulation of the markets. The timing of it just seems kind of weird, really weird. Now, the Lazarus Group could have done that on purpose, independent of Bybit. Um, but, I don't know. George also, and a lot of people don't even remember this or realize it. George was calling out FTX the summer before the collapse. FTX collapsed in November. And the whole time since the summer of 22, George, every time Sam Bankman Fried was doing something, he's just like, I don't know. It's not making sense. I don't know where this guy's getting the money. He does not have the money for all this. And George, he kept calling it out. He was really suspicious of Sam Bankman Fried. And because of that, I didn't have anything on FTX. At the time, I had stuff on Binance, Kraken, Gemini. I had things spread out all over the place. Coinbase, Gemini, Kraken, KuCoin, um, and FTX. And because of George's suspicions of what was going on, FTX was one of them I didn't have much on. Actually, I pretty much had stuff on Binance, KuCoin, and I think Gemini. Something happened with Gemini too that I pulled my stuff off. I forget. But anyway, so George's intuition is good. I think sometimes. I mean, can be good, I guess. I guess everybody's intuition can be good sometimes. So it's just, something we have that we can't really describe why we feel a certain way about things, but inside there's just things that we see that lead us to conclusions, and sometimes we get it right, sometimes we get it wrong. Now, also, speaking of which, here, look at these big green candles here. These big green candles on Sunday. So, how big are they really? Because weekend is, let's see, we're on a half hour, and those are $800-900 candles. That's pretty good for a weekend. Well, that's $1,000 candle. Yeah, that's a good candle for a weekend. Anyway, we're ending the video on a green candle on the half hour. Of course, it's not big. It's about to close. So we could very well get another red candle right here. But, all right. So I'm waffling back and forth, and it's time to go. Either way, whether we come down and close the gap in the end of the day, maybe that would be a good thing. That would, at this point in time, if we left a gap, I think a lot of people would be hesitant to get back into the market. If we did close the gap, that would probably drive the prices higher. People would feel more comfortable buying in, knowing that we don't have a gap to come down and fill. And I think that's what the plan is now. So maybe we form a gap at some other point in the future. All right. So no, don't. God, I'm just like a robot with this like and subscribe thing. And everybody says it. Do whatever you want. I don't like anybody's videos. It's stupid. I don't want to see. I hate the whole liking concept, because then you end up in a bubble. They're showing the same thing, the same ads, the same clickbait titles to get you to click on their stuff to support their advertising. I'm not just talking about videos. I'm just talking about searches in general and all that kind of stuff. So I don't like anything. I try to avoid all that stuff. But see you next time.